guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House, doing a walk and talk video here. Feeling pretty tired today, actually. Whatever reason. Crazy. A lot going on. Haven't done one of these in a while. A lot of things have developed. We have the WEF, World Economic Forum, meeting in Davos. Alternative media is there on the ground, sending reports back when they can. They took over Davos, the small town there, and so most of the reporters had to go out into another town to have a hotel room or a B&B or whatever, and then drive in or hike in, or there's a bunch of protesters there that had to hike in to protest the event. And they have like a badge system where different multicolored badges and all kinds of nonsense. So they're being exposed pretty well. And I apologize for the wind in these videos, guys, because it's pretty windy today. So that's going on. We got the bonehead administration in the U.S. The Democrats are throwing Biden under the bus. They're finding, classified documents here, there, and everywhere. And the difference between the bonehead and Trump is, well, quite huge, actually, quite bigly, or as they would say. So, Biden had documents that he wasn't supposed to have checked out when he was vice president for Obama, which is the guy who is actually running the show right now behind the scenes, because if you think Biden's capable of running the show right now, I got a bridge to sell you. So they're done with Biden. The Democrat Party's done with him. They don't want him running. So they're going to throw him under the bus. Hopefully, most people are aware that, it's his fault. He's running the show as a puppet under the Democrats. And the Democrats always stick together, guys, unless they come up with a vote and say, yeah, you're excommunicated from this party, we're done with you, we got our money, we're good. So I'm going to cross this road and I will be back in a minute. Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Right here in front of me, I got some stuff gathered together. This complete tray and hoses was donated to me, including the grow medium, which is the clay pebbles. They were donated to me by Mike at One Acre Homestead, so please go check out his channel and give him a thanks for that. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Busy guy with all these phone calls. So anyways, yeah, One Acre Homestead Mike donated everything here. I gotta take some of these stones out of the mix, because that just doesn't go in there. But anyways, it has this grow tray, the grow bed that he made. He already had the fitting that goes on here, and this is the hose for it, for draining. Or actually, this isn't the actual drain, this is the input. So this is where the water dumps into the tray. However, in the move and the process of getting everything that went on with the tiny house, because this was at the tiny house for a long period of time, the underside got damaged, and I won't be able to use this tray anymore because it's got a hole in it that's cracked. The fittings come out. So I got to rethink this. So what I did was I bought a smaller tray with a bunch of other stuff here. This tray was just from the local Dollarama, $3, dishpan. Obviously not as, this one's a little bit taller, so it has more depth to it than this guy, but not as wide as you can see between the two. So I'm either going to have to buy another one of these and link them together so we'll have 2 grow beds, or possibly do a repair on this guy if and when. But anyways, this grow medium will go into this container basically after I get it all sorted out with fittings. Now the one fitting I do have already here, which has a gasket and somewhat of a filter here already. Not that I'm gonna need the filter per se, but it has the rubber gaskets, so I can handle that. Now the only difference here is I have to manually keep this open, because if it ever gets shut, it'll screw up the operation of the whole thing. So I got to permanently keep this in the on position. And then I found this little hose that will kind of just get over the edge there of the piece of plastic. So what I think I would use is some probably just use some super glue. That way it permanently bonds those two pieces together, and then I can just cut this piece to length, and that would go back to the fish tank. So all kinds of wonderful things to think about. This stainless steel bowl is full of ceramic pellets that I can use as pellets on the bottom of the fish tank. I also found one of my USB brushless DC pumps. So this guy is 5 volts, obviously, 4.8 watts, and has a max liquid temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. No, we're not cooking any fish in that kind of water. It also has this this little screen that goes over the suction side of the pump, but it is removable. I'm assuming I can just leave this on here, and all that gunk should still flow through there. And this will probably be running continuous. Now I do have that size for this hose, for this pump, so that's not an issue. And I also have, and the reason I picked USB, guys, I have all those lithium power packs, so in case there's ever a power outage, I can just quickly throw a lithium pack onto this pump until the power comes back on. Battery backup type of thing. Now I also have one that is 120 volts, and this one is 3 watts, 200 liters an hour. Yeah, so, and it has different, it's got, I guess, different modes here where you can increase or decrease the, I guess it's a couple different stage speed pump, so that's also an option. Both use very little power, and the way I'm going to rig this aquaponics setup is the pump's going to run continuous. If I like how that works, we can see about possibly putting it on a timer. I also have a float switch, so if the liquid rises and this float rises, it'll click in and it'll make a contact, or you can flip it the other way, and if the water level, I'm assuming, how would that go? So it'd probably be more likely this direction. So as the water level rises, it makes a connection, either turning this on or off. I'll have to test that with a continuity meter on the multimeter, but we'll get into that as well. And it has a gasket and the whole 9 yards as well. So we have options there. I want to kind of leave these out of there because I got to clean out some material out of here. I have my pH meter, which I'll be using probably on the daily to get everything figured out on aquaponics. The problem with aquaponics is very finicky. The way I'm going to set it up is I'm going to cycle it without fish for it's like 2 weeks, I believe. And the way to do that is I'm going to have to buy some liquid fish fertilizer, put it into the tank, let it cycle for 2 weeks, let the bacteria start into the clay pebbles, and then I think after a week I can add some plants into the grow beds and go from there. I also have a 120 volt heater, which I can dial into whatever temperature the fish that I get normally would like. Obviously this has to be underwater before you plug it in and turn it on, or it'll destroy itself. And I also have a automatic fish feeder. You can pick your level of how much food drops in, whatever it may be. You can go full bore or just tiny. And that's also a USB, which is wonderful. And that just hooks onto the side of the tank. And Bob's your uncle there. So I'm gonna clean out some of these rocks, and I have some of this rock salt insulation that got messed up in there. So lots of stuff to do. And then probably gonna have to pick up another one of these trays at some point. And the trays will have to be linked together, so basically we'll have an inlet coming up over the edge and down inside, and then we'll have to have a little offshoot of pipe that connects another unit, so in a series, and then back down to the fish tanks. So we're slowly gathering our materials. I gave the fish tank a wash already. It needs another one yet again. And I also want to rinse out these pebbles in the tank. Like once I cycle it for a couple days, I'll probably have to exchange out that water and yada yada yada. So it's going to be a pretty long process before I even get the fish and everything like that, but got to get it set up right or it's not going to work very well. So there's all kinds of little pieces I got to worry about sifting through. I might just empty this and sift it because there's all little pieces of foam from work at the tiny house, fiberglass, little rocks that I threw in that'll probably be no damn good in the system. So we'll go from there. More updates to come, guys. We'll see you on the next. We are back. Sorry about that. So yeah, is anything going to happen to Bonehead Biden over these documents? I don't know. How corrupt is our justice system right now? You tell me. Yeah, it's pretty lame, guys. So, anyways, the House, at least, the Republicans got the House, so they're gonna start kicking some major ass and getting to the bottom of what the Democrats have been doing to the country. If you guys are unaware of what's been going on, then I feel bad for you, but not too much. Your wallet's gonna feel bad though. Just like here in Canada, the way North America is being run by these idiots right now, everybody's feeling the pressure on their wallet. And everybody can kind of agree on that, I'm sure. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to have to stay tuned. Back to World Economic Forum a little bit. Those are the actual people who are running things right now, running the world, basically. They kind of give out their scheme to all their little minions, and you either follow it or you're out of the club. And most people want to stay in the club because it's nice and cozy there. And if they don't, well, is what it is. But those are the people who are responsible for the, you know, the Great Reset, and you will own nothing and be happy. And their next big hoop to do is, well, you're gonna eat bugs, and the cyber attack they keep Klaus Schwab is talking about, and he says, well, that's going to be a bigger threat than what we just went through. You know, the thing with the jabs and all that. I'm not going to go into details beyond that because YouTube censors people for nonsense. So anyways, cyber attack is in the cards for the WEF. Oh, in this area, the wind has died right down, thankfully. That's great. So, pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy stuff. Cyber attack, will it happen? If it does, are you ready? Are you prepared? I'm not at the moment, because I've been just busting butt with work. And we got some other stuff going on, put new carpeting in the basement coming up here within a few months. So can I really buy stuff and put stuff away for now? Not really. Don't have a whole lot of space, which sucks. So it's going to delay that. Am I worried about it too much? No. I have a generator that's tri-fuel, which means, you know, say the grid goes down, propane, have propane tanks we can use on that guy, or I can hook it up right to natural gas. If the natural gas system is still working under this supposed cyber attack that's incoming by WEF. The thinking behind the cyber attack guys for the WEF, what they want to do is basically they want everybody on these social credit score, government ID things where all your transactions are tracked via your government status. So everything through your cell phone. If you're a good little slave, you get lots of points and can go and do stuff. If you disagree with the government, you get the opposite effect. And that's what they're striving for. They're trying to get rid of the cashless. Well, they're trying to go for the cashless society with this as well. Because as more and more pressure they put onto the public, a lot more people are dealing in cash. And trust me, I know all about that at the moment. Most of my customers want the cash as opposed to, you know, by the books. So, interesting stuff. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually pull off and do. Though most people are onto them. Join the survival group on my Facebook, guys. That is, you know, priority if you don't know what's going on the day-to-day. I post there pretty much every day, the latest and greatest of the nonsense going on by those folks. And yeah, pretty wild stuff, I gotta say. Speaking of natural gas, I just touched on that. Everybody's natural gas bill has gone up substantially here in Canada because Justin Trudeau has put on another tax that I kind of mentioned in one of my videos previous. He was going to come in with another triple tax, so this is another part of the carbon tax. Just jacked up our gasoline and natural gas because, oh no, global warming. Now, it is mid-January and it is pretty mild out today. However, the rest of the week, pretty crap. 1 or 2 days here and there does not convince me of anything, and you know, it is what it is. So that's what we're dealing with that way. So we've had to cut back on the heating quite a bit because of the pricing. Getting a lot of complaints from people about this. I know my buddy got a whopper of a bill, $700. Obviously, he didn't put any money into his house insulation-wise, and now he's paying for that. That's gonna suck badly. So yeah, it's scary out there, guys. And you know who's responsible for this? Well, the federal government, Trudeau. He's a WEF member, captured by Klaus Schwab there, and what are you going to say about it? He's acting on their demands, and nobody voted for Klaus Schwab to be in office. So now we got to deal with it because he's Trudeau is Klaus Schwab's little minion, and now we're dealing with that bull crap. Everybody's wallet is getting strangled to death on the daily. If it ain't your grocery prices, it's your utilities, and if it isn't that, it's the gasoline bill or diesel bill. And they're expected to we're expected to be at $2 a liter here in Canada again by springtime, which is only a few months away. And yeah. All right, there we go, guys. It's back. Oh man, so it's pretty nice out actually, not too bad, but other than that, we are hanging in there. So hopefully you guys are kind of waking up to the fact that anybody involved with the World Economic Forum is not for you. They are totally against you. Just ask your wallet. And the pressure is going to continue till we get these people the hell out of office, and hopefully in handcuffs. But I'm not holding my breath there. But more and more people are waking up, which is great because it puts the spotlight on these folks. And they're having their big powwow in Davos right now, so they're going to come up with their little mandates or scheme for the new year here. And like I said, they keep talking about a cyber attack that's going to shut down everything. Now, guys, if you've been following the news, you know, Canada and the US had a situation with the airlines where everything was grounded because of a so-called corrupt file on an update for their computer system. Now, can you believe that? Probably not. That's a how many $1 million mistake? Yeah, well, put it this way. Tucker Carlson was covering it on Fox News there on his show, and basically what went down is some kind of ransom because if you watch the program, they had an airline shut down nationwide in the US. We had one similar in the Canada. What was it, only a few days or a month later? And something similar also happened in the Philippines, I believe. That's what he said. And most people kind of looking into it said, well, there's a lot of scams online with Bitcoin and such where they hold ransoms up and you pay them in Bitcoin. So Tucker Carlson looked into it. Oh, Bitcoin shot up 20% during that period. So obviously the government had to pay somebody some Bitcoin to get access to their airlines again. Isn't that wonderful? If you've been watching the news, guys, travel is for the dogs lately. It's so many issues with airlines, luggage, baggage, canceled flights. It's just nightmarish. It's making actual airline travel ridiculous. I think it was ridiculous 10 years ago with all the checkpoints and the blah blah blah. But now you're better off driving most places if you can drive to places like that. But some people aren't that lucky and they have to fly and they'll have to pay for it. So traveling's pretty much out. And then the cost of everything on top of that. Yeah, if you can afford to travel, I guess you don't have to worry. But yeah, seems like a total nightmare to me. So I ain't going anywhere. Just working and relaxing when I can. But I'm off today, tired, but I'm out for a walk anyways, getting my vitamin D in. And not too shabby today, not too much cloud cover, which is fantastic. Hard to get too much sunlight in the wintertime, but is what it is. So yeah, how are you guys making out with your bills? I know our natural gas bill jumped up quite a bit. It was like $300 for a month. We did have a blizzard in that month, but that was only for at most 3 to 4 days. The first 2 days was horrific. We had to turn the gas fireplace on because the furnace was cycling like every 5 minutes, and our house is pretty insulated and up to date. But when you get a blizzard that's continuous for 48 hours, 72 hours, you got to do what you got to do. So the furnace at home was cycling every 5 minutes. I turned the fireplace on and left it on to cycle for 3 days at least, and that solved that issue. But a lot of people, you know, their gas bill would have jumped right up, especially almost like they knew that storm was coming, and they're like, yeah, you know, let's put that carbon tax on there, jack it up. And then when everybody gets their bills now, after Christmas and the holidays, with all the other bills on top of that, that really puts the screws to everybody. So, you know, and it's funny, online, or on the news actually, the mainstream news is still saying we're not in a recession or depression yet. Yet, when I look around, there's a whole lot of people not out in the stores, not doing this, not doing that. So, who's telling the truth there? It's looks pretty grim. So I think we've been in a recession, even during the past election and the whole 9 yards. Even though, because they're just fixing the numbers, that's all they do. Spin the numbers, BS the numbers, BS the public, until they're ready to release that and go from there. So we'll see what happens. That's basically all that's going on so far. I'm waiting to get a personal credit card because I want to separate that from the business card, keep everything separated off, and then I can start buying some stuff again on Amazon. Stuff I have on my wish list there for the projects around. Definitely gonna be doing the aquaponics because one, I'll be able to get my feet wet in that. Two, I'll be able to grow food or whatever at home. Pretty great looking food too, by the looks of these setups. And you know, three, it's not gonna cost a whole lot to run these things. Though I am going to probably look into buying just a cheap set of solar, just a solar panel, a couple solar panels maybe, and a cheap battery. I already got the MPPT and everything else, and make up a little system where I can recharge my lithium packs and run the aquaponics system entirely off the grid, and then I won't need, you know, another addition onto my utility bills, because I'm kind of stuck where I'm at the moment until, you know, we get a housing crash or something. But it's still doubtful in the cards, they're saying. So we'll see you guys in a bit.